like your day to day usually go?
I'm just at headquarters.
Headquarters, yeah.
Yeah, because we have offices there.
True.
They're spacious, so yeah. There's like a whole back to headquarters. It's like another world.
Was it water?
Yeah, please. Yeah. It's like it could be big enough for another bar. There's private bathrooms back there, everything. So you're there and you want the private bathroom,
Nah, for sure. That's definitely clutch, bro.
Especially the block parties.
Nah, for sure. Are you guys are you planning anything like 4th of July or anything?
The day before.
Day before.
Block party. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It gets announced Monday.
You down for a shot?
Let's take one, let's do it. Shit.
Just a casual one, you know?
I'm not gonna say no.
Thank you.
Shit, we might finish that bottle by the time. Shit.
I have a question, bro.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum? Which one is like?
Bro,
who do you think?
why not both?
Both? No,
I mean both. I mean,
like,
no, you got to give one the MVP, bro.
MVPs don't mean nothing to me. Rings, you know.
I mean, I feel it. That's coming from like a fan's perspective.
You know, I mean, it's because you know what, man. I think Jaylen Brown really excelled in the playoffs, but Jason Tatum excelled the whole season, which gets you that #1 seed, right? So I mean, it's like 1A, 1B. Like I don't know, man. Like,
but I love whiskey, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
I black out of my whiskey. And I'm talking like 4 or 5 shots.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That shit puts you there, huh?
Like Jameson, knocked me in my ass.
No, I don't fuck with Jameson. I don't drink that shit.
Strip scotch.
I'm Crown, Jack, fucking Angels. What is the Angels? Am I clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your camera good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bet. Hell yeah, man. Well, this is episode 42 of The Most Vulnerable Player, and we have Mr. Dickey Williams, who, man, is very well known in El Paso, and outside of El Paso too. We've known, really just about you for, really since I graduated high school, bro, like 2018.
Just about, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just obviously, you can call yourself like a serial entrepreneur at this point. You own tons of bars. You have partnered with one of my good friends now, Rob, and Top View Hit. So you just have, your hands all over the place, and you've been very successful in that. So, it's a pleasure to have you on, bro. We appreciate you making the time.
Anytime, man. I know we had to postpone a couple weeks because of Celtics.
No, yeah, for sure.
Too busy winning the ship, you know. So.
No, literally, we had a few scheduled, and then actually we had one scheduled for this Monday. We were like, nah, they're gonna sweep. Like we're gonna get it over with.
We wanted to celebrate in Boston.
Nah, for sure.
What can you say?
Yeah. So, yeah, man, how you living? How's everything going on?
Oh man, it's good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, any day above ground's a good day. So
for sure.
Seize the opportunity.
Amen
right?
to that.
Mm-hmm. Nah, for sure. So you grew up in Clint.
Right.
So
right.
You went to Clint High School?
Did the whole elementary, junior high school there.
All in Clint. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not shit out there in Clint. So did you come back into El Paso a lot, or like what was like kind of like your upbringing, like your childhood and everything?
So I mean, Clint is a farm town, 1,000 people population, and so like people's like grandparents grow up together there, and they just stay there generation to generation, and so we only have 2 convenience stores. We used to have a Silver Streak, but it's not there no more.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then it's our staple, and then so we were going in El Paso for groceries, shopping. So we caught it going into town, you know. So
for sure.
Yeah, they ain't shit over there.
And
cotton and cows.
Yeah, and you grew up with your mom and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Did
My
you have
sister.
any? And you have one sibling or how many?
Yeah, one sister.
Oh, yeah. And you ended up going to Clint High School. What year did you graduate?
99.
99.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Dude, that's when I was born. Fuck.
Damn. So I've been at it.
Yeah.
Sure. Hell yeah, man. And then so growing up, what did you envision yourself doing, like as a child? Because I remember I heard that you were a really good baseball player as well.
Right.
So what did you kind of envision yourself doing, and what did like kind of sports do for you also as a kid?
Well, man, growing up in Clint, there ain't shit to do but play sports or explore, and then video games. So we were all in the sports, man. Football, basketball, baseball, and I ended up being pretty good at baseball. And
what position?
I was a utility in right field.
Okay.
And I really thought I was gonna go pro.
Yeah.
You know? That was my thing. I mean, as a kid, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I think everybody
right.
for sure.
You got a dream, and then as you get older, you start to realize some things. Like, okay, like I'm good, but I'm not that good at that level. And around high school, I started a party crew, and would throw parties.
Oh, shit.
You know, kegers, charging
Damn.
$5 a head. You know, dollar shots, which is pretty. Now I wish I could go back to those parties and drink that. You know, and
This was during high school.
This is during high school. So, you know,
where were you throwing these parties at?
At the desert, man. Homies' houses. You know, so. And then I just had a love for it. It was just cool, you know, just throwing the parties, being the life of the party. And then I just continued with it.
Yeah.
You know?
So hold on, my bad, bro. Where did that kind of stem from? Like the idea was like, were the upperclassmen already doing that kind of stuff, or like where'd it come from?
Well, you know what? I got inspired by bigger schools because, I mean, upperclassmen always do parties, right? Of course. But they never would charge or make it like a business.
Right.
And so bigger schools, you know, had their party crews and they'll throw parties, you know, jungle juice, the shots, the keggers, sexy lady contest, you know, the whole works. And so I took that and I ran with it down in Clint.
And them shits, did they ever get rated out in Clint, bro?
Shit, you know what happened, man? Fuck. So one of the parties was at a house and I had electric gates. So every time someone paid, you know, we opened the gate, let them in. So the cops came and we weren't letting them in. And and so long story short, I played fuck the police.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then shit just went crazy, man. We got all our cake stolen.
Damn. So they
or confiscated. I don't even know. I didn't even ask.
They just busted in that shit and damn, bro, that's crazy. And
I mean, I'm 15 years old at the time, so that's 15? What's crazy, you know.
Damn, so you started.
Hey, you were talking to the cops? You were like playing the doorman and shit?
Oh, I wasn't doing that. I had some freshmen in high school doing it, which is even worse, right? Dude. I ain't gonna be the face.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that.
And were you actually making like some pretty decent money at that point?
You know, it wasn't bad. I mean, anywhere up to $500.
I mean, bro, at that age.
I mean, just throw a party, bro. I mean,
split it with your homies.
Shit, man, that was during the summer, so that's back to school clothes.
No, for sure.
You know?
Dude, and high schoolers aren't making. I mean, generally they're not making $500. I mean, I remember working as a host at Buffalo, like cashing in $250, like for like 2 weeks.
And you weren't having fun doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that was lit.
Yeah. So from your perspective, like, if someone's gonna throw a party, what are some like key essentials like you need to make sure you have? Make sure it's like a good time, that it's gonna be dope.
Girls, music, and alcohol, right?
Okay, those are the staples.
I mean, those are staples.
Yeah,
and some good security, maybe. Right?
And then, those are just the add-ons.
Right.
I mean, with those two, if you want to have a good party, everything else, of course, just comes with it. But,
oh yeah. Did you ever make any like jungle juices or what's so you say kegger? What does that mean? Is it like just you have a keg?
Yeah.
Got you.
Kegs of beer. We make jungle juice with cheap vodka. You know, $3 bottles of vodka. You know, Hawaiian punch. So.
Hell yeah, bro. I think I threw maybe one party like my entire fucking high school.
Nah, dude, your parties were always solid though, dude. This guy knows how to host a party.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty good host. The hard thing is, bro, is like I be getting in my head like I make sure like I want to make sure everybody's had a good time. So sometimes I'm not like
he overly plays the host role.
Yeah, you're a good host.
Yeah. That's what I try to do. But there's been something like my event where we just hosted an event like last month.
Yeah.
And so up until like 11 p.m. like all over the place. But as soon as like I knew everything was good, bro, I turned the fuck up and I did not make it that night, bro.
Dang.
It was like one of those blackout nights.
You know, that's why I still feel with work. Even though I'm having a good time, I'm still in work mode.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's why sometimes I don't like going to our places.
I could see that.
Comfortable.
I could see that. For sure.
You end up wanting to like just start like control shit and like just call shit out, or like if something's like lacking, you just want to correct it and you end up trying to fix things.
Dirty table.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're like, hey,
we're arguing, you know, and it's like shit. Like, you get
somebody
sober
get on this shit.
Yeah.
You know? You're like,
I can see that.
Like the manager group me is not very polite during that time.
Right. For sure.
I can imagine, dude.
Yeah. So you graduate high school, and did a little bit of research. You were working at Smokies, or what came first?
Right.
So you were working at Smokies. I also heard you worked at 3-Legged Monkey.
Right.
So what was I guess your route into actually opening your first bar? Like where did you start off at?
Well, first the next step was I went to college.
Okay.
And I joined a fraternity.
Okay. Do you went to UTEP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so throwing more parties.
Okay.
On a bigger scale, and networking more.
Yeah. What were you studying at the time?
Marketing.
Okay.
And met more people, more connections, and then I always wanted to be in the bar business, but back then there was not as many bars as there is now, because you still had Wattis, really solid.
Yes.
Bars here were mostly I mean, I can only name like probably like 5 top of my head that were just actually busy.
What at your time? What was popping?
Smokies Viscount on Wednesdays and Sundays packed.
Wow.
Three-Legged Monkey, Old Cincy like G2, O2, downtown Union Plaza wasn't even around at that time yet. That didn't happen until like 2008 or 9.
Damn.
And so I was lucky to get into Smokies, and I started off as a door guy.
And this was on, you
Bike
said
count.
bike count. Okay, yeah.
So
It's
like
still
essentially
there.
you're bouncing.
Yeah,
You're bouncing.
so that's how I got in the game.
Started at the
As
door.
a bouncer,
Yeah.
you know, and
And you meet a lot of people doing that.
100%.
Oh, that was, dude. Some of the funniest times I ever had was bouncing. I mean,
Yeah. You know, it's cool, man, because like you're the face, right? So
Yeah,
everyone wants to come to
exactly.
you, they're talking to you, you
Yeah.
don't let people in, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
you meet a lot of people. Of course, you're gonna deal with some shit, but you know, those some of the best times was when I was at the front door. Very adventurous, and then from there, I just like I was that bouncer though. Me, my personality is I always want to try to learn as much as I can. You know, ask a bunch of questions even to this day. So when I was the bouncer, I'd be asking the bartender how she made that. I'd be asking the cook why does he do what he do. Why is the bar back doing that? You know, so I started slowly learning everyone's positions.
Was that like a subconscious thing you had? Like you were just naturally curious, or you were like, I need to know this shit because I'm gonna open up my own spot?
Well, at the time, I had no plans of opening anything.
Yeah.
You know, I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you're there. You're actually getting paid to be at the party. And I'm just naturally curious, you know, and I just like learning. I think knowledge is power.
yeah.
And so I just kept on, you know, being intrigued by everything. I was just so happy to be there because, you know, it's a passion for me.
Sure.
And so I started moving up. I moved up. Well, I don't know if I moved up, but they let me start doing caterings, being a cook. And then I became like the kitchen manager, then the bar manager.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and then they gave me my own store when they opened the one on Santa. I was a store manager. And then that's when I went to Three-Legged Monkey as a general manager.
Wow. Okay. So you were. People don't realize like obviously you have all these bars and you're the owner of these and they see you as a face too, but like you started doing it all. Like I feel like not many people realize that you literally know every aspect of the business, 100%. Whether it's door, you were cooking food, you were the kitchen manager at one point, and it's just all that. You feel like that has played into a lot of your success, is really just knowing all the really just all the aspects of it, you know?
Oh, 100%. You know, knowing all the ins and outs, you know, it helps you out tremendously. And, you know, and it also makes me appreciate everyone's position. Like, I would never look down on a bar back. I'll never look down on a cook, you know, because I was once there, you know. And you never know who that cook might become.
Exactly.
If they have that passion and that drive.
Damn.
You know, those are two things you can't teach people, but some people just have it.
Right.
For sure. So you were in the trenches, bro. Really,
100%.
the kitchen is, especially the kitchen. It takes a unique, it takes a certain personality to be able to actually like. Because I've worked in kitchens before too, and it's not easy, bro. Like you talk shit to each other. I've seen cooks like personally go out in the back and like fucking fight. Like it's just a lot of like it's a certain personality.
Not
bro.
knocking the cook position, but usually they're lower totem pole of the workforce, right?
Yeah.
So like,
sure.
yes, you get those problems. But the biggest knock of being a cook at Smokies was smelling like brisket, like barbecue every day.
Shit, yeah.
You know, Jesus, that was the worst. I can't eat barbecue to this day.
Really?
Just the smell.
Smell.
There's
It's
nothing like being in
triggers me.
that kitchen, huh?
Yeah.
Like you do kind of like, I know when I was working at Applebee's for a second, it like I couldn't do that smell, dude. You just get tired of it.
And it's like you smell it. You know?
Yeah,
it's like it drives you crazy. You don't wash your shirt, throw it in the hamper in another room. The room smells like it. You're like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah. And I remember coming up, I didn't hear too much about Smokies, but I remember as a kid, like Three-Legged Monkey was like the fucking spot, bro. So when you were there, like, can you tell me about a little bit about that? Like, what was that like?
So I think Three-Legged Monkey started the whole hybrid of what we have now, like sports bars, clubs. You know, it could be a dive bar during the week, and that's what it first started. Because back then you just had your lounge or your club, or it was just a bar. You know, and so it brought all those things together, and yeah, man, it was crazy. Like it was.
And you guys had, I mean, lines probably.
Oh, lines around the corner. Yeah, man, it was just a spot to be, and that's what really started the whole Sunday night party.
Really?
You know how, like, you know, right now Nice Guy, right? It's packed on Sundays,
Yes.
but I mean, Monkey's what started that Sunday night.
Yeah.
I remember being there. I'm like, fuck, dude, don't think this motherfuckers work.
Yeah.
like
That's what I be
shit.
thinking, bro.
It's a
Like,
real thing, bro.
I still think it to this day. Hang alive. I'm like, fuck, what do y'all do?
Nah, dude, if you see me on a Sunday, bro, I got work the next morning, bro. I'm just sacrificing.
Well, I
shit.
saw y'all 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. We're making fucking sacrifices out here, dude.
no, for sure.
That shit's
'Cause
tough.
low-key, you just hear about everybody's going to Nice Guy right now, bro. Like, fuck.
Right.
And you're already like kind of buzzed. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah,
Run
yeah.
it.
No, yeah.
Thanks.
And damn, bro. So three-legged monkey, and then are the wheels? When do the wheels start turning for you? Then, are you at three-legged monkey at this point? And you're just like, damn, I kind of
Right.
want to open my own spot.
So when I got the three-legged monkey, well, that's when. So let me tell you how I even got to
Mm-hmm.
three-legged monkey. So I think I was still in my mid-20s, late 20s at Smokies, and I ran into a situation where I always took my job serious. Like I didn't look at it as a playhouse. Like I got paid for a job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the job.
Yes.
Right. And so I took it serious. I never drank at work. Hey man, follow the rules. This is what we're gonna do. Et cetera, et cetera.
Sorry to interrupt. You're bartending at the time, right?
I'm managing.
Managing, okay.
Right. At Smokies.
All right.
And I went into a situation with a bartender, and she was very, very close to the owner and his wife. And she was fucked up. And I sent her home. We got in an argument. I sent her home. She cried to them pretty much. He kind of bitched at me and demoted me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my pride got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm doing all this shit for you. And it just showed me the nature of the business.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, you're just an employee to them. And I get it. Like, hey, man, no hard feelings. So that's when I started reaching out. And at that time, I was just, like, scorned by managing. I was like, fuck that. I don't want to manage. I'll just bartend or some shit. And then I hit up the owner of the Monkey because I was always there every Sunday partying. And I was like, hey, man, you have any openings? Let me know. I want to bartend. He's like, how about managing? And I was like, well, I don't want to, but let me know.
Yeah.
And then I became the general manager there.
Wow.
Like, he hired me as a general manager. And, yeah, that's how I ended up there.
Yeah. And people, like, when it comes from being a bartender, because I'm actually in that position right now. So this is actually, like, a very personal question for you. You go from a bartender to the manager. From that jump you made, what did you notice, and how did you kind of, like, adjust to that, you know?
So at Smokies, I never really dealt with, like, paperwork or numbers. So when I went to the Monkey, I started dealing with all that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're responsible for the numbers, the ordering. Hey, this is your budget, et cetera, et cetera.
Inventory, everything. Yeah.
Right. And so I learned all that, and I loved it, and I liked it. And let me tell you, when I left Smokies, when I went to the Monkey, I still didn't want to open a bar yet. I'm still kind of young. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm having fun. But when I went to the Monkey, I started seeing everything from the other side. And that's when I started realizing, like, I can do a lot of this. You know what I mean? And so I started taking it more serious. I started learning the front of the house, the back of the house, how to do things. And one of the best things actually that happened to me at the Monkey was I got to learn on his dime. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I made some mistakes. I got to try out parties. I got to do things. And if they didn't work out, well,
Yeah.
it didn't come out of my pocket.
For sure.
But I mean, most of them worked out. They turned out great. But that's one of the most important things that you can get from working for someone else. You get to learn on their dime
That's true.
without having to make mistakes when you move forward.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, so from the Monkey, where did the idea come from? Because your first was Luchador, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I was just, I just always thought about El Paso, man. It's much of like, we do have like some of the greatest Mexican restaurants here, but there was nothing like at the time that was cool or hip, right?
Yeah.
Every time you walked into a taco shop or anything like that, there was no taco neta back then,
Yeah.
right? So if you wanted the good tacos, you go to Sled and it was not vibey, it was not cool.
For sure. It was like your Gometa vibe.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. So
Gotcha.
I was like, man, what if I make a place that's like vibey and it's hip and it's cool to come eat Mexican food, but it's also turn up at
for
night,
sure.
et cetera, et cetera.
And did you travel at all? Like, were you traveling at that point?
No, man. I never traveled back then because there was no money to travel.
Yeah.
So it was just all Google. And but when I realized that I was ready, is when I feel like I couldn't learn anything more. Right. Like you reach that point where you're like, well, what else could I really learn without me having to do it myself? Go through those trials and tribulations.
Do you get a little frustrated, like when you kind of know, like all aspects of the business, but sometimes you feel like, nah, I know this could like maybe work, but now you kind of you still have that overhead above you, like that. I mean, essentially the owner, your manager. Was there any ever like what can you say? Not frustration, but kind of feel like you're stagnant in a way?
You know what, man? I think it all happens to us all, because sometimes even when you're doing well and you're being consistent, you still want more.
Yeah.
Or you get kind of bored and you want to like create something new.
For sure.
You know, and that's the way I get sometimes. Like I just feel like I got to keep creating. You know, I have so many concepts and ideas, you know, and I want to apply them, but time is not on my side sometimes.
For sure.
You know, and sometimes that concept I had, the market moved on where it would no longer work.
And is it a little bit hard, like when you're in the mix, like on the day to day, to really, because I hear the term, it's like sometimes you think like you work on the business, or like you work in the business, or you work on the business. So like I feel like when you are so busy like bartending, you're doing all the day-to-day stuff, is it kind of hard to kind of think of what the next move is for you?
Well, you know, man, I believe if you want to expand, you got to trust people, right? Like you can be involved in the business, but you can't be 100% in, because because you got to trust people to run your business, hopefully the way you want it to. But that's the only way you're going to grow.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you have to think about, I mean, what's the future? Where are we going? And that's probably the hardest thing, no, is finding the right people to surround yourself with.
You know, it's always hard, man, because the way I feel is that no one's going to care about the business as much as you do.
Yeah.
Because they just see it as a paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that they don't work hard or they're not going to try their best. But at the end of the day, they're still an employee, right?
For sure.
And they're not going to, they don't worry about if you made money or you had a loss or a fight breaks out and you got to go talk to the TABC or the law enforcement, et cetera, et cetera. You know, like they don't see that stress. No one ever sees that day-to-day stress.
Yes. No, that's your baby. Like you feel all the passion for it.
100%.
I guess you can get lucky when there's somebody that actually like maybe has a fraction of that where they like care.
Well, it's like what I just touched on earlier, man.
Yeah.
Not everyone has. A lot of people never find passion in their lives. Like they never do. And the people that are lucky find it at a young age. For sure. Right. And I feel like I was blessed to find passion at an early age.
At a very young age.
Because I've met many people and they just go through the motions, you know? Yeah. And it's like they're just wandering through life.
Yeah.
Where do you think that stems from you, like just like the hunger to like excel and grow and essentially like take such a big risk opening up the bars?
Well, I feel like I was always passionate and competitive, but I think when you talk about the risk that made me want to open the bars, there was one instance. It was when I was still at the Monkey, and this is when I said, because I always felt like, hey, I know enough to open a bar, but you know, it's scary, right?
For sure.
Hey, I got to get an investor, I got to use this money, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So there was one instance, man, I was managing, and I mean, I was making money, but not enough, right? Yeah. And I had just had my daughter, right? And so I was living in an apartment with my daughter and her mom. Our electricity got cut off. And also, she was newborn. Still didn't have money to buy her infant milk. Right, so she couldn't eat, crying, no electricity. So at that point, you know, you start telling yourself, what are you scared about to make this next step? Because you can't keep living like this. So that's why I always feel like pain and trauma can be the greatest motivator as well.
100%.
And that's why I still, to this day, I still think about that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go back to that ever.
Nah, for sure. That's a huge one, man. Like you feel like, because we talked about it like a few times. I feel like everybody has different motivating factors, right? But that pain one is like, you vividly remember how you felt in those moments. And it's just, you're literally kind of not running away from it because you maybe overcame that. But at the same time, it's like, damn, You remember that all the
100%.
time.
You got because you own it.
Yeah.
And you vividly remember, you know, the way you felt. And so that's what helps you grow and overcome things. Yeah. And saying, well, what's the worst that could happen? Can it be as worse as that situation? Yeah. And what's the best that can happen? Take the risk. Yeah. Make the jump.
We actually talked about this the other day. Do you feel like you have to hit rock bottom to like make a serious change?
I never hope people have to hit rock bottom, but sometimes it's good. You know, I would never say, you know, it won't help, but some people it can be detrimental to them. Yeah, they can never recover. For sure. Because you know, I think the people that hit rock bottom have been there before, and they can build back up. Yeah. Some people that have never been there, just say they were given things or things of that nature, they can't recover because they don't know how to recover. Right. And that's not a knock to them. They're just never taught, or they never learned.
For sure. Did you have anybody that kind of helped you through that, or was it all like? Did you have some friends? Did you have anybody, or was it just I just got to get through this shit?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Parents helped out this and that, but you know, and even then, it's like embarrassing. You know, in the pride.
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
You know, like you feel like at your lowest.
No, 100%.
And but that's what I just think is like what molded me to be the person I am today.
For sure, 100%. So yeah, take me through that. So you end up taking that leap. What were the steps you started to take? Because I mean, everybody just sees like the opening night, they see everything, but what were the steps? What did you have to put in position to even make that possible, Luchador?
Well, man, I actually got fired before I even took it. Because like in my mind, I already said, hey, I'm gonna do this. I was looking for investors, et cetera, et cetera. The owner got wind. And he said, oh, well, you know, you're trying to do this when I'm employing you, so I'm gonna let you go. Bro, I got fired. I did not have a plan. I did not have an investor. I didn't have anything. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I really gotta make this happen. So that happened in May. And by September we opened.
Wow. So that's like not even.
Yeah, it was like 3 months. Crazy. So like right when I got fired, I pretty much found an investor. And I found a spot, which is the Cometa on Zaragoza. That's where Luchador was.
Really?
That was Luchador.
Oh, damn.
That was
right on that corner?
Okay. Yeah, and then so it's very funny, man, how it happened. So the chef was actually a high school buddy of mine. You know, he went to school, et cetera, came back. And I pitched him the idea, and he's like, oh, I'm fucking with it. You know, and so it's funny how things work out. Like we had joined the Mexican food cook-off a month before we opened, and we won it.
Wow.
And so that created so much hype.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, where's this place coming from? When's it opening? And so that helped tremendously. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, you open the doors and.
So the food was a central like aspect. Like that was one of the main focuses of the business.
100%. And I'm not gonna lie, I think food is hard. I respect anyone who's a true restaurateur that can do a full restaurant because it's not easy, you know. And I was not ready for that shit. No, I wasn't ready for that volume. And you know, the bar side is like breathing, but I was like, oh shit! Like I've never worked in a true restaurant like that. Yeah. And so it was very humbling and eye opening as well.
For sure. And how did you go about like finding an investor?
You know, man, I had known people from the bars, right? You know,
that would just go in.
And people, for some reason, people always want to own a bar. Yeah. You know, they always want to own the bar, and so you know, people, hey man, if you want to open a bar, you want to open a bar. And I'm just the right one to talk to, I guess, you know. For sure. Like, you know, and because it's crazy because I get my staff poached by people to this day. Like I think I have over 10 people that work for me that open up bars. Wow. Yeah, because everybody wants to open a bar and they see like, oh, well, they work for Dicky. Like they got to know what's up. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I always say. I taught you everything you know, not everything I know. Yeah. You know? I just give you a game plan.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. We still got some gems that we don't.
It's like, come on now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I mean, yeah, it's a very competitive business too, man. Like, I mean, essentially, you're. I mean, you guys. There's different vibes. I think everybody has their crowd, right? It's different, but you're competing for a lot of like this, especially in a smaller city. Like, I mean, El Paso. What do you think, bro? It's a big city.
It's the smallest, biggest city.
It's the smallest, biggest city. Okay, yeah.
And you know, I touched on this last time. I really say the problem with El Paso is it's really not that big. Well, for the nightlife. Yeah. That's why when you see new places open up, they do take from something else because we lack that influx of tourism. Yeah, that helps. Like, you know, you have Dallas, Scottsdale. Exactly. Like we go in there for events, sporting events, you know, just to go party. We don't have people coming to El Paso for any of that. Yeah. So that's why you see the same people, and that's why places might get played out so fast because you're seeing the same people every week.
That's very true.
You know, as opposed to new faces.
Yeah. Damn, that is very true.
That's a good point.
And at what point when you opened Luchador, what was the nightlife like at that point?
You know, man, that's when Cincy was that's when old Cincy was pretty much at its end, and Union Plaza was thriving at that time.
Like the Garden,
Plum, 1914.
Okay, yeah, those were like the brunches were going on and stuff.
The brunches were still at G2.
Oh, okay,
right. And so I really was the first bar on the east side because no one touched the east side, which was crazy. And then Luchador boomed. I mean, it was the number one bar. What I mean by number one is because they list the sales.
Yeah, on the TABC.
Right. And so it was number one. So of course, I mean, people see that, so they flock, right?
For sure. What was it about the east side at that point that you think it hadn't been touched?
Well, I think people, you know what they say, right? pathfinders end up with arrows in their back. So it always takes that one person to go into uncharted territory.
For sure.
Hey guys, look, there's treasure. Then they kill that guy, and then everyone comes in, you know. And also because at that time 79936 was the biggest zip code in America, I think. At that point.
Most populated. For
populated, sure. Right? And with no bars, like that's kind of insane.
Yeah, that is for sure. And I mean, you definitely ate up that market at that point. Yeah,
that's why the East Side boomed for a while.
Yeah. So you had the food. Was it like a sports bar too type vibe? Or?
Right. We show UFC events, sporting events. We had the Niner fan club there. So
got you. And you're making. I mean, are you finally making like some serious bread? Like for the first time in your life, were you seeing some
more than I had made? More than I had made. I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Hey, I got rich," because the deal wasn't still. I look back on it now. It's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
But because I guess it was my first business deal, and but it was more than I made, so I can't complain at that time.
And were you very?
It opened my eyes.
Yes. Were you very hands? I mean, you were probably very hands on, right?
I was operational, man. Yeah. So I was there all day, every day. You know, basically another manager on duty. And so man, I was there every day. And you know what the crazy thing is? I was only there for a year.
Oh, shit.
And that's when I asked to be bought out. And then that's why I moved on, and I made Tipsy Tiger.
Okay, yeah. So
now we talking. Now we talking my time.
There you go.
Damn. So what made
you? You're like 16.
Yeah, dude. I was fucking figuring it out, dude. Fucking fake IDs.
Damn.
Yeah, we could say that now.
Right.
I made it to like the very end portion of Tipsy.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tipsy EPTX.
Yeah. What made you decide that you wanted to move on from that first one?
You know, man, I just think it's I think a business partner is a marriage, right? You know, and I'm not knocking that person at all, man. He's a great man. He's a great guy. But I just think I felt like I still had room to grow, and I think I could have gotten better business deals, etc. You know, and which I did. And basically that's what it was, man.
For sure.
And, but then when I left Luchador, bro, I was pretty much back at square one. Like, back again, moved in with my parents. On the grind again. Yeah. You know, trying to get it going. You know, everyone counting you out. And then Tipsy Tiger opens, blows up.
Damn, that's not... People don't realize that, bro. Like, you were an entire bar owner. And, like, you had a good run. That shit is popping. And then, I mean, you literally back at square one, bro. And I'm sure it's a very... I mean, it can be a very scary feeling for a lot of people, but the fact is, I'm sure knowing that you've done it before, it was like
100%.
Yeah.
Like the grind never scares me.
Yeah.
The grind does not scare me. Hitting rock bottom does not scare me because I've been there.
Yeah.
And I know how to get out of it. You know, and I trust the process, and I trust myself, and I trust what I can bring to the table. You know.
So what made Tipsy Tiger unique?
You know, man, I think at that time, I think my network was just so strong, very strong. And I had so many people that just supported me, man, and wanted to see me win. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Tiger was a vibe, you know. Sure. And
what was it like in there? What was can you compare it to anything you have now?
When you're 16, you tell me.
He was.
No, I went like twice.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, I definitely caught like a little glimpse.
I was a fucking nerd at that time, bro. I wasn't doing shit.
It was you know what, man? It's what I try to mimic was like bars on Rainy Street back then. I tried to make the inside look like a house, and then it had like the patio, and I called it the backyard. So it was a big patio. Yeah, it was like chill vibes. You know, the patio wasn't really like turned up. It was just vibing. Okay, you know, music at a moderate level, and it's just like.
Where was that at?
It was actually George Zeta, right up the street, man. Where Desert Bum's at now. That
really? Oh, snap. Okay, so I mean that used to be, and that was EPTX too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Damn. And so you said that had a huge boom for how long was that open?
So, dude, well, I'll put it this way. So we're going back to what I said about the TABC reports, right? Yeah. Like the number one. So the top bars ever, I haven't looked lately. Yeah. But at one point, out of the top 5 highest selling bars ever in El Paso was EPTX, Tipsy Tiger, Dirty Sanchez, and Showtime.
And those are all, I mean, those are all you.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's when I said it boomed. It boomed, you know, and then it just stayed consistent until we opened EPTX. Yeah. Because then you take money. Basically, what you're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know? Because you can't, like, going back to I said, El Paso does not have that many people to sustain. So, of course, you just kind of move them next door.
For sure. Yeah. And what do you feel it is like? Because do you feel like a bar should be like have a longevity? Obviously, a business you want longevity, but
Right.
what is it about like, because you've evolved a lot and you switch concepts. So what's the reasoning behind that? You feel like you just want a different feel for people, or like how does that?
You know, man, because the sad thing about it, like I'll give you two examples. Like one will say headquarters, right? I think headquarters is just, it's one of those bars where it's it can adapt to anybody.
Yes.
You know, you go in there for happy hour and you see all walks of life.
Yes.
Right?
I see families there sometimes.
Right,
too, yeah.
correct. And then night turn up,
Yeah.
Thursday, Sunday, sports bar. So those are the kind of bars that have the longevity. You know what I'm saying? Because you have all types of clientele.
Yes.
Let's say bars as EPTX, Tipsy Tiger, those are clubs.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we all know the life expectancy of a club is not long because the next hottest thing opens, people just flock there. You know? Like the cool crowd is fickle.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
For sure.
Like they always want to, because they always want to be where it's cool or what's new, what's hot. And that's the scary game we play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know? So you got to get everything you can out of that. And then you got to be ready.
Yeah. How much of it is location? Like, do you think that plays into headquarters, or you think just the concept of headquarters and what it is?
I think it's the location, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that area, because it feeds you the happy hour. You know, it feeds you the weekday nightlife.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a little district.
Yes, the 5 Points district
Right,
is
right,
very
right. And I think, well, location is always number one, right? Because if not, then everyone will be successful.
Yeah, for sure. How do you deal with like because there's certain spots like that do get like very violent too. Like there can be a lot of violence. How do you navigate that? Like,
You know, man, it's one of the worst things, bro. And I never, like, whenever I hear it or see it, because I've been a part of it.
Yes.
You know, you never wish that on anybody, you know, because it can happen anywhere. I mean, you know, for instance, you know, Walmart, we saw it at the mall, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, you just got to do your due diligence. That's why, you know, we started doing the pat downs, you know, things of that nature, because, man, people are just crazy nowadays.
insane.
Like, I feel like whenever I go somewhere, I just got to watch my back.
No, for sure.
Like,
That's how it is.
I have like
Yeah.
PTSD, you know?
No, I bet, especially being in it for so long. I'm sure you've seen some wild shit go down, you know?
I've seen a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So from Tipsy Tiger came Dirty.
Well, from Tipsy Tiger came Cincinnati Street.
Okay.
College Dropout.
Yeah.
Ditzy Dogs, Sister Esther's.
Damn, dude, I forget you fucking. Dude, you're everywhere.
And then EPTX was 2018.
Okay.
And so at what point did you have both two running at the same time? How many did you have running simultaneously?
Let's see.
Because right now you have Nice
It was
Guy.
like 4 or some shit.
Nice
Right,
Guy
I think.
Headquarters and
Homeboy.
Homeboy.
Back then, simultaneously, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think like
shit.
9.
Holy shit,
9
man.
is insane. Bro.
She's like
I
shaking
know.
her head up here.
9 is insane.
I don't even believe that shit sometimes. You know,
Bro, where were you? Like,
Yeah,
you
I was
just
like, what's your
bouncing
day-to-day,
around, or,
bro?
like,
everywhere.
yeah.
But once again, a lot of those places. Well, I think at that time, majority were all nightclubs. So I mean, my day to day is just kind of showing up at night. You know, I pick a spot. Hey, I'll be here on Thursday. I'll be on Cincy on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll go there.
Yeah.
You kind of go to your more packed places.
Right, to see how it's running the operations, because I mean, it doesn't help if it's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
At what point, what was Cincy at that point when you decided to make that jump?
to Cincinnati Street, so
Yeah.
it was empty. It was dead, and so they had approached me to do a block party. Because I don't know if you remember, back then Cincinnati used to have the Mardi Gras block parties. They used to close down the whole street
Okay, yeah. I
and do a
don't-
block party. And they used to do them with this one individual. And I guess he was taxing it, because he would tax them. I don't know the numbers, but they came to me and they're like, hey, you know, because I was running off my hype, right?
Yeah.
All the clout I had.
sure.
They're like, hey, you want to do this block party? And I was like, yeah, sure. I go, let me see if I can put it together. And I did. I think we brought Robbie Rivera down. It was very successful. And so, of course, everyone was all excited and happy. And at that time, the Dropout and Ditzy Duck leases, they were vacant. And so they were like, hey, why don't you take this over, help us revive Cincy? And So yeah, we did it. So the first 2 bars of New Cincy were Fool's Gold and Ditzy Duck.
Oh wow, okay.
And then that was just vibe already. It was hype. You know, those 2 places were slammed. Then came College Dropout and Palomino at the same time, like literally weeks apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you saw it completely take off for another.
Right. Well, I always tell people Cincinnati's always going to be Cincinnati.
Yeah.
No matter what people say, no matter what they do, it's the only real party district we have.
Yes.
Right. And if 4 new bars pop up in there, it's going to be packed again.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like a tiger can't change its stripes.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you'd bounce at like Champagne for a little bit.
Yeah,
now.
bounced at Champagne for like about almost a year.
Nice.
So
Any
that was-
16-year-olds?
No, I wasn't that guy. Dude. All my girls are of age, and you know what I'm saying. Fine.
Right. I hope so.
No, it's crazy.
But
bro.
yeah, no, that was a good time, bro. I'll never forget my times bouncing, like literally.
And that was prime Cincy, I bet. You know,
Oh,
like,
dude, it was what, like 21? Yeah, like Chino was popping, bro. Like, yeah, it was freaking lit, dude. It was
like
lit.
just alone, there was probably like thousands of people on that street.
No, it was
easy.
lit.
If everything
It
was
lit.
packed,
Yeah.
you know. And that was the cool thing about Cincy is that even the bars that sucked still got packed because people just
Everything
wanted to
was
go
lit.
in.
Yeah, everything was full.
People wanted to
dude.
drink. You know, you're gonna wait in
Everything was
line
full.
for an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. What do you like going forward now and what you've learned? What do you look for in like a business partner, someone that you're gonna do business with, especially like long term?
You know, man, I think anything, like I was touching on it, man, it's a marriage, and I just think it's loyalty. It's like, you know, dating a girl, you know, marrying a girl. It's loyalty, you know, them sharing the same vision as you, the same, I don't want to say they got to share the same passion, but they got to be passionate about what they're doing.
For sure.
You know, they can't be in it for the wrong things. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people do in this business. They get into it just to be that guy. Like, hey, look at me. I'm here for the girls. 'Cause I've seen that movie so many times. I've seen so many people open bars and they close down so fast because the girls, drugs, alcohol, all get to them.
Yes.
You know, and you never want to be that guy.
Yeah. Is that something like, yeah, how do you go about, yeah, because it takes a lot of fucking willpower to not, I mean, for some people, like, some people have that natural discipline, right? But we've seen like firsthand, like people that get into the bar industry, like it really takes them, you know? So is that something like you are aware of already, or did you kind of sometimes see yourself like, oh shit, I need to reel it back a little bit, you know?
You know, man, I always treat it like work. Like if I'm, that's why too, when we're talking about earlier, I like to drink at the places out,
Yeah.
you know, that I own or whatever. It's because I don't like to do business when I'm drinking.
Yeah.
You know, because you can say things that are aligned, you can do things that are aligned, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So I always feel, man, if I'm gonna stop working, then I'm gonna start drinking, you know, like the line
For sure.
separated,
Exactly.
black and white.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't differentiate that, and it gets sloppy. I'm sure you guys have heard stories like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my boss was all drunk. He started
Yeah.
yelling at me, blah blah." I've seen it firsthand, and it's like cringe, you know. And that's why I tell anyone that wants to be in this business, I go, dude, it's a legit business where you make good money. Like, would you get drunk at the bank? No, you wouldn't.
Right.
You know, and this is just as serious because you're putting people's lives at risk
For sure.
in all aspects.
Yes.
You know, and so you have to be sober. You have to take it, 100% serious. And
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't. And those people don't work for me.
Yeah.
Like, I've weeded out a lot of people. Like, I'm zero tolerance on drinking. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, my God, no one does anything wrong. 'Cause I'm sure they fucking do, right?
Yes.
I don't see everything. But as soon as it fucking comes to light, all right,
Yeah.
move on.
You have to.
Well, for me personally, like I know you were like touching a little bit on like location as far as like businesses go, and I've heard too, like they say like the East Side is not the place for like bars and stuff like that. But dude, when Dirty was around, I mean, Dirty was like its own monster. And like, tell me why you think Dirty was just so different and so popular.
Shit, man, good question. I mean,
Like, what was it, bro?
you know, man, it's and it was crazy because around that time, EPTX was open. They had a swimming pool, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever got them. They just threw people in there. And,
Literally.
And I just think Dirty was a vibe, bro. Like, I'm a real big believer, man, in energy. Like, that's what makes people go back to your place.
Yeah.
Because they have a good time, right? You can't
Right.
deny no one a good time.
Exactly.
Like, you guys are always going to go, we have a good time at. And then you're gonna tell everyone else like, shit, I had such a great time here.
Exactly.
They're gonna come through, have a great time, and, just goes down, just trickles down. And I think that's what Dirty was. It was so fun. Like I had some of the greatest times there,
dude.
And it was just good energy.
I tell this guy all the time, dude. Like, to me, Dirty is like almost like the mecca, especially on the east side. Like, nothing could compare with that. But I mean, so would you say it was like your staff? Would you say it was like, a mix of staff and DJ and?
Yeah, of course. Everyone plays a part, right?
Yeah.
Everyone does, and I just think it was decor, lighting, location, parking, staff,
dude, it was
DJ.
Yeah.
It was just good vibes, good energy. The layout, layouts are a big part. That's probably one of the things I tell people. If you want to be successful, make sure your layout's good.
Right.
Do you have someone that assists you with that?
No,
it's all.
So if it fucks up, it's on me. And I gotta be like, fuck.
Damn. So that's all just you brainstorming.
Yeah,
you're thinking
no pressure, huh?
Yeah.
When it came to Dirty, like, did you already see like the potential in it? Like, soon as you saw it, or?
Man. So it used to be Cabo Joe's, and the owner of Cabo Joe's, John Jeske, he had approached me, and he was like, hey, let's partner up on something. And I said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, let me know what you want to do. And he's the one that came up with the name Dirty Sanchez. And so everything else was just me, like, hey, what design you want? How do you want to do it? So I just designed it and put the layout together, this color scheme. So it was like inspired by, you could tell, like the 1950s, 1940s bombshell, the vibe in there, the colors. And hot dog theme, and then we almost got closed down the first week because the landlord didn't like it.
Really?
Named Dirty Sanchez, and plus we had like the vinyl windows with a girl with a 12-inch hot dog going in her mouth. Yeah, so they didn't take too kindly to that.
Dude, what?
Do the landlords tend to get involved a lot?
Some do. Some are very strict, and and they really fuck with you. Yeah. So that's also, man, what plays in is your landlord. Especially with bars, because a lot of these landlords, like say Mimco, River Oaks, they don't even allow bars.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So you have to find the right landlord plus the location, and so it gets tricky.
And Cincy, is that owned by like the same group, or is it like all different?
So every little strip is owned by a different owner. So that Chino strip is one owner. The College Drop Palomino strip is one owner. The Champagne Villain strip is one owner. The Homeboy strip is one owner.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they're all different, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be like a fucking monopoly at that point.
Yeah, because it's the one owner and they're not playing
you
ball.
damn near had a monopoly there.
Yeah,
bars.
at one point. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was good to be the monopoly at the prime, right?
Yes, for sure.
Right. You don't want to be at the tail end. You want to be right in the
right
heart
then and there. Yeah. Where do you see the nightlife, how it's evolved over the years, and where do you see it kind of going to in El Paso?
Man, it's a tricky question because this business is always evolving, and that's why it's the highest selling business in America, because it's always evolving and you got to evolve with it. Yeah. So to say where it's going, I couldn't tell you because it's like almost like a trend.
Yes.
It's almost like you just got to keep your finger on the pulse and just be and watch things. You got to be hip to what's going on.
For sure. Especially
Especially in this business, because if you're not hip to it and know what the market's calling for, you're going to fail.
Yeah. How do you, because it's like a tricky thing where you don't want to change something if it's working, but then it's like you kind of constantly have to evolve. So I feel like it's just like a
we also fall
act.
victims to circumstance, because we fall victims to what's comfortable for us and what we know. And it's almost like it becomes a definition of insanity, right? You do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And then you're like, well, wait, you still work. Well, yeah, that shit don't work no more though. And so I think traveling plays a part in it, man. Just being always researching. Like, you can ask her, man, I do not stop working. Like, I work all day, every day. I'm on my phone because I'm just researching, seeing. I know. I could tell you every bar in El Paso, their head counts, their sales. Wow. Everyone, because I want to know the competition. Because if I'm not in tune to that, then I'm doing a disservice to everyone that works for me. And I got to know how to counteract things, events. I got to know how to plan for certain things.
For sure.
Yeah. Because that's one thing I always said, man, is that you might be more talented than me. You might have more money than me. You might have a nice place than me, but you'll never outwork me.
I feel like people, I think anybody, you can get complacent, especially if you
100%,
have a little bit of success.
Yeah. 100%.
So the fact that you've obviously seen the success, but you're always constantly, what's next? We're evolving.
Because I know what can happen.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been a part of it. I've seen it happen. So it's like you can't be ignorant and say this is not going to happen to me. Because I've seen richer and smarter men than me fail or let that happen to them. And so I'm like, well, I'm never going to let that happen to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and history's a good teacher.
For sure. Let's take another shot real quick.
Best thing I've heard all day.
Sure. It's like, can we get a little more controversial now?
Yeah.
We might get a little deep now. We might get a little personal now. No, dude, we were actually at Nice Guy like 2 weeks ago, bro. There's like 3 fucking Mexican that look like Edgar outside fighting and shit, dude.
Oh, I think it was that night, that weird guy.
It was. What was
No, it was a Saturday.
Was it a Sunday?
It's when I saw you guys, no?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It was when we saw you.
It was that weird guy I told you that ran off all weird.
Yeah, they were like.
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Yeah, right in the front.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Episode 42.
Hell yeah.
So how long have you and Alex been together?
Damn, hitting me with
He's up. My mic's not working.
6 years.
6 years? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that shit's still hot, bro.
Yeah. When it comes to, because obviously you're working all the time, and it's especially the bar industry, it's like late nights. Sometimes you're not getting home, but the good thing is, like, I see you guys together too, like, especially when it's super late, you know. So like, what is something you've had to adjust to, like, obviously doing what you do and being very busy and just constantly, I mean, just obviously working really hard, right? So when it comes to like balancing that in a relationship, what's some advice you'd have for somebody?
You know, man, I think it's trusting your employees as well. You know, because as much as we want to be control freaks and always micromanage, is that you also gotta, you know, have your personal time as well, because that's what brings you the peace.
For sure.
And I think that's before I was with her. I think I was always full go, 100%. Like, I was just aggressive, you know. And I think I've learned how to, like, you know, channel those two things where I can turn it off in a sense for a little bit. You know, I mean, if something happens, I get back into it.
Nah, for sure.
It's still there, but I think it's more where I've learned to become more relaxed and to enjoy things. Enjoy, like, she always tells me that, you know, enjoy things, you know, enjoy the moment, things of that. Because me, I was always like, man, fuck the moment. What's the next thing?
Yeah, exactly.
What's fucking going on next? Like, bigger and better things, you know?
No. It's you can get caught up in that, bro. I feel like I fall victim to that all the time. Sometimes you can be working towards something like for so long, and then it's here. And I almost like, I enjoy, I look back at it, I'm like, oh, like it's not that cool. Like, yeah, it feels good, but at the same time, I feel like more of the fulfillment came from actually working towards it.
Right, the process.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a drug. The more success you obtain, it becomes addicting. And you want to keep being successful.
You never become satisfied.
You never become satisfied, you know, and that's with a lot of things in life. So, you know, sadly, and but I guess it's not bad, right? You want to keep being successful.
Good problems to have.
Right, good problems to have, a great problem to have. And I think, you know, that's one thing I still am addicted to, you know, like, I love it, man. And like, but lately, I've been trying to appreciate it more. Because, you know, we all have self-doubt, right? Like, and you take a loss, you do this, you start doubting yourself. You're saying, oh, shit, look at that, look at this. And so when things do work out, things do happen the right way, you know, you realize, like, oh, shit, it's not as bad as I thought.
For sure. And you become grateful for those moments, too.
100%. And that's what I'm learning to be more, because I felt at a time like I couldn't do no wrong.
For sure.
You know? And I was blessed to be in that kind of zone. You know, but that doesn't last forever. You know?
Do you ever sometimes when you're at like one of your spots and it's like fucking packed, do you ever sit back and be like, damn, like this shit's...
You know what's cool about that, man? It's cool because you get to see hundreds of people enjoying something you created.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the most humbling and grateful experiences you can ever have.
For sure.
You know, like, they're having fun. Yeah. They want to come and spend their money on something you created.
And some of the most special moments that they have, they're spending it.
Birthdays, anniversaries, or where they met their husband, where they met their girlfriend, you know.
That's
Very
always
So that, like, I get those stories all the time. Like, oh my God, Luchador, man, that's where I met my wife.
Yeah.
Oh shit, like people still tag me and shit.
That's
It's
fucking
crazy, you know. But it's cool, man, because let's be honest, dude. Like, a lot of core memories are made in bars,
For sure.
and clubs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you go celebrate at a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Hopefully,
Majority of the time.
I meet my wife at one of your spots one of these days, bro. That is it.
I got you.
He's like,
We'll do a bachelor.
yeah, fucking speed dating at fucking nice guy.
Hell yeah. Fucking most vulnerable player speed date.
Find a nice guy, add nice guy.
Hell yeah.
I think we're onto something.
Showtime was very unique one too, because that was like branded off of, I mean, a person that's, I mean, a hometown hero, obviously, Aaron Jones, and I mean, we grew up watching him even just in high school and stuff. So how did that come about, like your guys' relationship, and then ultimately you opening up Showtime?
We had just we met each other in Cincy. I mean, I think he was still at UTEP, if I'm not mistaken. And we were just always cool. And he had brought it up to me one time, and this was years before Showtime had opened, but I just kept it in the back of my mind. And you know, I mean, he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, and the opportunity presented itself. And I just approached him and said, "Hey, you still want to do what you had told me about?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Okay, well, I got this opportunity here with this location." He's like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it."
Yeah, at that point it was it Fool's Gold before?
It was Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so all that went into, because that was I mean, it still is. I mean, you have a new spot there, Nice Guy, but that was a very unique spot as well for a while. Did you go when it's like when it was
its peak?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there a few times. At the time, I was in the point in my life where I wasn't really outside too much, but I had hit like 2 or 3 times, and there were some elite nights.
But
Yeah.
you outside now.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, dude.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm trying to like hone it down a little bit, bro, because
It
it's
gets
so
fun.
tempting to want to be out, like, especially Paso. It's so tempting to want to be out every weekend. Like, it's easy, especially in like, at least like 10 plus people there, whatever. I mean, dude, it's like, and then you're seeing it all in your story, like,
Get the FOMO.
yeah, you're just like, ah.
Yeah, and that one's a very big spot too, as far as
Right.
like just capacity and stuff. What are some things you learned about that spot, and just some of the challenges you've had to overcome there?
You know, man, I don't consider anything a loss if you don't repeat it twice, right? Because I feel like, hey, it's a learning lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, if you repeat the same
Preach.
mistake, it's a loss.
For sure.
Like, you got to learn from them.
Yeah.
And so what I learned from Showtime was, okay, yeah, it is big. So that's why you see now how I put like the selfie rooms there.
yeah.
And, you know, I like the way I put the DJ booth now. So it shrinks it down.
For sure.
So now, like, you only need half the people that I needed before.
Yeah.
Because before it was like 500 people in there.
And did Showtime have that upstairs too?
It's always been there, but I didn't want to. I don't know why I didn't use it back then, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah.
with you.
I didn't even know it was a thing until like this motherfucker was just yelling down at me. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I didn't know it was there either. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the first time, and then I was just, it's cool, bro. Actually, I like it. I like it. I like
Bird's
being
eye
up
view.
there. Yeah, exactly.
Scout
It's
for
cool.
his next wife.
Facts.
Exactly, bro.
Or his first wife, next wife.
His next
I want to put him on blast.
So Nice Guy literally just opened up, what, a month ago? But now at
Yeah,
this
give or
point,
take.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how's that been going for you?
Been going good, man.
Yeah.
It's solid, man. It's
The concept is amazing, bro. Like,
appreciate it.
where did that come about? The concept of Nice Guy, because you get like a blockbuster feel when you walk in, the first like
Right.
entrance.
So the whole blockbuster thing, bro. I had that idea for like, I say a decade.
Wow.
But I just didn't know how to apply it. Where, because not all spots you don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
And so finally, when I was doing this project, I was like, shit, I could do it right here. Perfect. And yeah, man, people are getting a kick out of it. It's cool. And the whole thing about Nice Guy is like, okay, I was watching Half Baked. And then remember what they call the weed?
Yeah.
And so, and I started saying, I was like, man, a smiley face, you see it everywhere. So it's just branded for you.
Yeah.
So people always tell me now, like, they'll just see a smiley face. They're like, Nice Guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Some people call him Mr. Happy. Like, it's everything but Nice Guy sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, you're close and shit.
Yeah. And then you guys just started selling food, right?
Right. Yeah, we opened the kitchen a couple weeks ago. And we also opened the dog park. And so,
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you have a
guys-
dog park at Nice Guy?
yeah, it's that fenced area on the
Oh
corner.
shit.
Yeah, you
Okay.
guys had an event there, like last week, right?
Right. With the adopt a canine. It was a good turnout. Yeah, I mean, I want to hit all aspects of the business because that's why I learned too over the years. Like, yeah, it's cool to make money Friday and Saturday night, but you're paying rent every day.
Yeah.
Right? They don't. When you pay your rent, they're like, oh, it's just cool. You're not open the other 5 days. Nah, it's like, give me my money.
For sure.
So that's why I'm just trying to hit every aspect and every angle, and cater to everybody. Because you might get people in there go for the dog event that never would have walked in there.
Yeah.
And you get a new set of eyes.
For sure.
They're like, oh shit, this place is cool. I'm gonna come hang out here.
And then the block parties, like the block parties you throw, because block parties have like always been a thing. So when it comes to the ones like you throw at headquarters, is it like you usually do them on like a holidays? Is that for the most part? And then like, how do you go about throwing those block parties and putting them together?
We just get together, man, and we just look at usually holidays because that's when people are going to come out, right?
For sure.
So like the next one, July 3rd, because no one works July 4th. Well, the majority of people don't.
That's smart, bro.
So it's like,
I would have thought, oh, July 4th, everybody's off. No, like July 3rd.
But that's something about being in the game. You learn that July 4th is actually a slow day because everyone's in red sands, cookouts. Yeah. So shit, the night before ain't no one doing jack shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
It's like that the day before Thanksgiving is that true? That's the biggest fucking...
In El Paso, it's not. Let me give you a fun fact about El Paso. Yeah. In the rest of the U.S., maybe it is because like everyone comes back into town. But in El Paso, December 23rd is actually bigger.
Really?
Well, me personally.
December 23rd.
Numbers that I've always seen. Because everyone's in town for Christmas in El Paso.
Yes, for sure.
I always feel that way. In Thanksgiving, yes, you do get some people coming back, but everyone's in town for Christmas.
Yes, 100%.
And Christmas night is even solid, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what I heard. People definitely pop out on Christmas night.
Yeah, Christmas night, I've thrown many parties, and it's slammed. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
No, that's lit, bro. Like I said, we went out, I think it was the 22nd this time around, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Friday. In December, and that's when you had the Christmas. It was like a Christmas block party, and
it was 22nd. You're right, because the next day we had that pub crawl.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so with Madhouse, how did you guys start? Because it's essentially a promotion company, right? How did that come about? You guys working together?
So we're in the same fraternity. We weren't in it together.
Yeah. What fraternity?
Alpha Kappa Lambda. AK.
Okay.
And so I think he was working at Dark Horse at the time, throwing little parties, and he was actually working there. And I was about to open College Dropout, and he had just hit me. Hey man, I'm so and so. I'm in AK. I was like, oh cool, let's meet up. And he's like, hey, you think I can get a shot at College Dropout? I was like, yeah, for sure. And we just went from there. And
so he hosted like a party there.
Right, a Thursday night, and it just grew from there, man. And that was like 2017.
Wow.
Or 16, 17, I can't remember, but yeah, we're going strong, man. And and our relationship blossomed. It's not just a working relationship; we have a good personal relationship as well. So
there's nothing like Madhouse that I've seen, like, or maybe I'm just not tapped in, but there's nothing like Madhouse where. I mean, first of all, you see all the beautiful girls on Madhouse, like
it's like everything. Don't come on the Madhouse.
Nah, for sure. Anytime I'm talking to a girl I see on Madhouse, I'm like, fuck, dude.
I thought you were asleep in bed. I thought you were sick that day because it's weekly. So it's like, come on, man.
Nah, for sure. You're on every single one of these posts, bro.
Hey, trust me, I still get mad at him. He posted me that day, and I'm like making some weird, awkward face in the background. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, bro. I'm for sure. I'm tapped in with Madhouse 100% though. And then Top You, man, like that's a super dope concept, and super happy to be hosting an event tomorrow at Neep too, man. So that's gonna be exciting.
I would go, but I'll probably be hungover.
Nah, bro, I totally understand.
Heads up.
No, for sure, I totally get that. But no, it's super exciting. I was able to meet Rob. I mean, obviously he was on the podcast. Known of him for a while. But yeah, we were able to build like a good relationship, and then he just told me about Top You Hit, and that you guys were able to just partner up on that. So, and I remember talking to you at the gym at Get Fit actually one time, and you were talking about how you had seen like I think it was Mark Wahlberg, like a documentary
right
on his gyms, and that kind of like planted the seed in your head. So what were the origin stories of Top You Hit?
So the origin stories, man, because I feel like I always look at what's the other one besides Barry's? It's F.45. So I always felt like there was nothing really like that in El Paso. Yeah, you have your Orange Theory, stuff like that. But I feel like there wasn't nothing like intense where you actually like homegrown, where you're going to get a good workout in 45, 50 minutes. And so I hit up Rob, And I was like, hey man, what do you think about?
And you had known each other for a good while.
Right. So how I met Rob, man, funny story. I met him at the same time I met her. So like our package deal. But he snuck in my DM, and then he was like, hey bro, I'm he was still a trainer back then.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm a trainer at Push Fitness. I train Aaron Jones, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, cool, man. He's like, come through. And I was like, yeah, I'll come through and work out. And I've never left. And so we've been together since.
Shout out to Rob, man. That's the homie.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, he's, man, he has something I can never possess, man. And that's like shooting his shot and being so open and talking to everybody. And I wish sometimes I had that, which I don't. And it's a great quality, man.
For sure.
And it's opened up so many doors for him, having that personality, But yeah, and so I hit him with this concept. I was like, hey, bro, what do you think of this? And it was funny, man, because right when I brought up he was down, we got a location right away, like the one on Yarborough. Yeah. And it was a good rent. It was a good location. I was like, shit, well, let's do it.
It's a dope vibe, too. It's very dark. The lighting is dope. It was just at first, I was like, where the fuck is this shit? So I was like, calling it Rob. Movie theater. Yeah. It's super dope. And then even the workouts are super intense, man. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't gone in a year and I went and I haven't gone back. I was like, that's too much cardio for me right now. I'm trying to bulk, all right?
Yeah, that shit kills, man.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you at Top U 24/7 pushing weight, bro. I mean,
oh yeah, that's what I be doing out here.
Yeah, I know you're working on actually something similar, or a restaurant actually. What was the name of that one that you're currently working on? It's like gonna be upstairs.
Yeah. It's called Drexler's.
Drexler's, okay.
Right.
And how's that coming along?
Man, I'm a sucker for details, man. It's so crazy. Like, I think I trip out so much on details that no one else is gonna notice. But it bothers me
for sure.
Like you could ask her. I walk into a place, I'm like, that shit's bothering me. And she's like, what? I'm like, that little corner, that nail, like yeah. So like I'm a stickler for that, and I feel like that one has so much detail, like it's gotta be perfect.
For sure. And that like quality, you see it a lot with very successful people though, and I think that's a big thing because not many people might notice it, but the people that do, like, it just goes a long way for people.
Right.
And maybe you go in and you don't notice it, but the fact that you already like picked up on it and you kind of worked on that in your own spots, like, people think it's just like so seamless to them, so they don't even notice. But you had already thought this out, and you fixed it.
100%. It's crazy, man. Like, whenever a place is being built, I will sit there by myself for hours, and I'll just envision like the flow, where people are probably gonna hang out at, where it could bottleneck at, where it's gonna get like super packed at. I just try to think of all those things. It's
for sure.
And that's why the devil's in the details.
100%. And Anthony Maldonado is one of your partners as well, right? How did that relationship come about?
Man, it was around the time I had left Lucha when I got the buyout, and I had so at the time, my daughter's mom and his daughter's mom were like best friends, and I was at his I was some birthday party. I'm not too sure what it was exactly, and I was just talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I left Lucha, et cetera, and she comes back. She's like, hey, Anthony wants to talk to you. Like, text him. And he hit me. He's like, hey man, I heard you left. He's like, do you want to do something? And I was like, oh, well, I have some concepts and I'm talking to some people. And he's like, well, stop talking to these people, let's just do it.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
That's amazing. Yeah. So that was from there, you guys been partners since then.
So it was like a very seamless transition. Like, you got to think, I left Luchador. Once again, I left without a plan, but I just knew I was going to be successful, right? Yeah. Like, I just had that mindset.
For sure.
And from the time I left Luchador to the time I opened Tipsy Tiger was like only 4 months for it opening.
Wow.
Which is kind of
that's crazy. A fucking crazy turnaround, man.
Right. Yeah, man.
And ever since then, you guys still been working together. That's amazing.
All gas, no brakes.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. So what's advice to someone who's maybe, like, let's just say in a position you were at Three-Legged Monkey where you knew you had some ideas, the concepts, but you hadn't taken the leap yet. Like, I'm sure you had a lot of things going through your mind, like, oh, this and that. What's just advice that you would give to someone that was in your position at that time?
I would just tell them, man, if you're ready, because you know when you're ready, you know, it's like you gotta make the leap. You know, it's better to know it didn't work out than to just second guess yourself for the rest of your life. You know, and most of the times it will work out as long as you be consistent, you put in the work. It's not gonna come to you. Nothing's ever gonna come to you. That's why I always tell everybody, if you put in the work and you be consistent, you know, it will get there. You know, but you gotta take the leap of faith.
For sure.
You got to. If you believe in yourself, then that's all you need. Because when I believed in myself, no one else believed in me. Trust me. I try to get a lot of people try to talk me out of it.
Wow.
Like, you're crazy. And then everyone would hit me with, "Oh, do you watch Bar Rescue? You should watch Bar Rescue." And I'm like, "Fuck out."
Yeah. And then, I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes, like that's the best feeling, bro. When you've done what you said you were gonna do, and then it's just like, I mean.
And honestly, I think anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur in any aspect, we should applaud them, because the amount of guts it takes to do that, you know, it takes a lot.
For
you
sure.
know, because you got to deal with being scrutinized, criticized. You know, everyone's gonna come out the woodworks and just bash you, talk shit about you, and it takes a different kind of person to own their own business.
100%.
What advice would you give to, like, I mean, to people like ourselves who are, like, you know, doing business together? I mean, how do you keep that longevity with, like, you know, a business partner?
You know what I think, man? I think it's just being open communication. That's I think the number one goal. When you're not openly communicating, because you're gonna have your differences, you know, you're gonna have your arguments, but you can't take them to heart if they're about the business. And as long as you openly communicate, I think everything will be all right. You know, it's just like any relationship, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna fight, you're gonna bicker. There's always gonna be bad times,
For sure.
but the good times.
So they're coming, motherfucker.
Nah, we low key be fucking. We coming for each other's neck sometimes, but nah, it's always love.
you're still here.
It comes from
Yeah.
a good place.
So honestly, it takes someone that really cares about you to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Because trust me, a lot of people would just tell you what you want to hear, and those are the people you got to separate yourself from.
Damn.
You know,
Yeah.
like I respect someone else that I will respect someone that criticizes me, because a friend, like, when they criticize me, because I feel like when they criticize you, it's the utmost sign of respect, because they expect more from you, or they keep you to a certain standard.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Damn.
So a lot
That's
of people are going to
facts.
be like, "Oh yeah, that shit's dope," and it fails. You're like, "Motherfucker, told me this shit was dope." Well, apparently not.
Yeah.
And not to I mean, I'm gonna play the bad guy this time around, because I mean, we've been talking about a lot of good shit you've done.
Yeah.
But I mean, so, like, I'm just kind of backtracking a little bit, because this night, like, just, it was I hold it dear to my heart for a lot of different reasons, but that night that, like, for, like, the night that Dirty got closed, man, when it was that shooting, for one, I was there that night,
Right.
and two, my homeboy was actually the guy that, I mean, let off the rounds, dude, like, let off the shots. So yeah, that was like my boy. We went to high school together. I mean, Diego knows him too, and I mean, that was just a crazy night alone, because I mean, I think the Walmart shooting had just happened, dude. Yeah, so, dude, if you were there and you saw, like, people's reaction to those shots,
It's crazy.
they were in full on panic mode, dude. Like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I've heard gunshots before. Like, I wasn't as scared as everybody else, dude. Like, everybody's pushing me out the way, and I'm a big old dude. Like, girls are stomping over each other, like, everything, dude. I remember they were kicking, like, the wooden fences in
Were
the
you
back.
in the patio?
Dude, I was right, like, in the middle of it. Like, I was inside,
So was I.
and yeah.
That's what I'll tell you.
So yeah, so they're like pushing through that like to the patio, and then they started. So you were there, so you know.
Yeah.
But they were kicking in, like, the wooden fence,
Right.
and, like, literally, like, trying to just escape any way they could, dude. It was crazy. But I mean, just like when unexpected things like that happen, how does that kind of, like, how do you bounce back? Like, what's the approach from that, and how did that affect you?
Well, on that one, it actually affected us. It closed it. The reason why I closed it down was because our lease was actually up, and
The timing was
the
just
timing was very bad.
Okay.
So they didn't let us renew the lease. So that's the reason why I had to close.
Right.
But when things of that nature happen, man, I mean, like I was stating when I was touching on earlier, shit's always gonna happen, man. Like, you can't plan it, like, especially that one.
Yeah.
The guy wasn't even inside, you know,
Right.
pulled up, et cetera, and you know, you just, I sometimes it's like roll the dice, right? But when it does happen, man, it's fuck, man. It's just really like letting people know, like, you know, this shit does not always happen here.
Yeah.
You know, good publicity. You try to like reverse it on you because you gotta think you have all these social media platforms that are gonna just come around for the clicks, right?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Look it.
Right.
And they don't care if it's detrimental to a business or not because they're a business themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's almost
It could have happened. Honestly, it could have happened anywhere. Yeah.
No, 100%. Like, yeah, if those two guys were somewhere else, it would have happened there. You know, just my luck, it was Dirty Sanchez.
And it does happen everywhere. Like,
yeah. I mean, that was just the spot, dude. I mean, everybody and their moms was there that night,
actually.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
It was a brunch.
everybody was there, bro.
It was during the day?
No, it was
No,
like,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It was early,
It
though.
was a Sunday.
No, it was really early, bro. We had just showed up, dude, and
well, brunches went tonight, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
everybody was there, Diego. I'm not lying, dude. Like, females I've never seen before, like, were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was there. Like, literally everybody was there, bro.
Yeah.
And it was 9 o'clock. It was early. It was early, dude. Already lit, jumping.
What's on the horizon for Dickey Williams? Have you ever thought about expanding outside of El Paso, or do you feel like, I mean, obviously you've done a lot of amazing things here, or just like, what do you picture the future for yourself?
I think the future is growing outside the city, man, because what I've learned just from personal experience is that you kind of tap yourself out. Like, the more places you open, you are going to just start stealing from yourself. You know, and I think maybe just 3 or 4 places here is probably the max you could have now.
Yeah.
If that. I think growth outside the city is number one, and that's what I would love to do.
For sure. Oh yeah, man.
Bigger market, bigger money.
Yes, 100%.
We get that tourism now we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
And who knows, like, hopefully, I mean, the way it's looking, I mean, a lot of people are moving to El Paso. I'm sure in the next, I mean, I could see it definitely having a boom. I mean, from what everybody says, it seems like it could grow a lot, you know, and it is growing.
Lord willing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'll still be here for it.
Yeah. Well, man, we really appreciate you coming out, making the time, man. It's I know your schedule's insane. We were trying to plan this for a while, so
Blame the Celtics.
no, for sure. But
We're glad they got him out the way soon, man. They got him out the way quick.
Hey, man, no one believed me.
4-1.
I know I got obnoxious with the IG post. Fuck you.
yeah, man, for sure.
Easy.
Man, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Dave.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex, as well.